Hello everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles, where once again we experiment a little with our own being and gradually allow ourselves to switch into a mode that we've forgotten about for a few days. That's a mode where we connect through a communication system that has nothing to do with your everyday communication systems, where you project your whole being from your origin into this world and from this world into your origin, and where every moment accelerates the interaction between yourself and other beings on this earth and outside of this earth, in dimensions that we haven't considered yet, and in the dimension that you've decided to live in. We've called it the elevated platform of living, and then we've gone above that, and then we've gone into the world of magic and miracles. But right now, we go beyond that again, to where your own essence starts to generate its own tune, the one that switches on all your power, switches on your well-being, your capability of delivering your gifts into this world, and your capability of experiencing that unique being that's nothing like anybody else, anywhere, at any time, and is totally majestic in every way. We can look at many examples again of how in your everyday life you produce whatever you wish with a fleeting thought, a little smile, a blink of your eye, the view of a bee or a bird or a baby, the look in someone's eyes, and most of all, that time when you look in the mirror and you wonder who's looking at you, and you smile and the world changes. In everything that we do from here on in, we'll be exercising those simple aspects of ourselves that are the most powerful in all the universe. And that is your ability to connect into every world in an instant and bring the products of those worlds into play for anyone you wish to do it for. You can allow people to have a perfect life even when the situation looks bad. You can bring to them your essence without interfering with them, simply by allowing your essence to amplify everything in their world so that their world is enhanced and running perfectly for them. It's like looking at your car and being proud of it and knowing that it's running perfectly and it's looking after you. And even when it's covered in dust, it still looks shiny to you. It still looks proud and full of life. You bring that to a car, you can imagine what you bring it to when you apply it to people, to all the people of the world, of the universe, to the person next door, to the person sitting next to you, to the person you've never met and maybe never will, that you know about somewhere in the world somehow. We all have that special being floating around somewhere in this world that we know we're connected to, that amplifies our sense of being, amplifies our sense of majesty, and allows our being to generate this massive power that supports everything in this world. And you may say, but don't we all add together? The answer is no. Everything is separate for everyone. And you provide the full power for the world that you're involved in, even if there are a lot of other people in it. It's not a case of us holding one space. It's a case of we all hold all the spaces. And none of us runs into one another or affects one another by running into them. Our presence enhances everything in this world and in everybody else's world. So now it's time to be proud of the fact that you can stand tall in a world that you created, in a world that you brought with you, in a world that nobody has ever seen before. And that's why you can just smile, transmit, and almost blow someone off their feet. Because the total power of your being can be focused in one special area for one moment to make room for that person's life. Not just partially, but totally. We're capable of the most complex operations without a thought. And the fact that we do it every day and don't realize doesn't mean it's not possible. It means it is a fact. It's the only thing that happens automatically all the time. So in introducing what we already know, I've introduced something new. And it is not in the knowing or in your awareness. It's in the senses that we haven't touched yet. Those senses that go deep into everything, that can reveal anything, that can enhance anything. Those senses that are not just feeling, but their power. The very thing that manufactures everything we have in the physical world. And it's not an idea that generates from somewhere. It's something beyond knowing, beyond the world of magic and miracles, beyond infinity, and most certainly beyond all scientific knowledge and reason that we have in this world. But for each one of us, it's easy. You only have to see that you have capabilities beyond even your own understanding. And then a new understanding comes in to fill that space. An understanding that you can actually extend yourself much further than you ever thought possible. And the further you extend yourself, the easier it is. Because you're working in the natural sense of the world of your Creator, where everything happens without reason and without having to acknowledge that you had anything to do with it. Because you know immediately, you know as soon as you flash a smile to a young child and they burst into life, that you've sent something that you didn't conjure up, it just came out of you. This is the force that we're about to bring into the physical world. A force from everyone that makes them stand up straight and project all of who they are to support everything in the growth of this world and the growth of every being. To make sure that everything works as it's supposed to work without determining what that is. And knowing that you're a totally responsible being that cannot be irresponsible by any standard, even if it's projected on you. It will show as you show, with a light in your eye, a smile on your face, and a hidden power that can affect everyone. In particular, we've been looking towards this development showing itself clearly in everyone's world. There are times when it's been shown in specific individuals' worlds, and they've used it to affect other people. And they've come up with systems that allow them to control other people. But now, with the spreading, not of the knowledge, but of the feeling that's beyond all feelings, nobody can claim anything about anybody else, because everything in their world belongs to them, it's their responsibility, and is uniquely theirs. To attempt to go outside of that makes you lose your own being. And if you lose your own being, you come back to the image in the mirror that has no character, that has nothing standing behind it, that has nothing looking straight back at you with a smile on its face. This is not going to happen because the world and everything around it now supports our ability and our measure of who we are as individuals, not as a comparison between one another. So I've got this friendly fly coming back over and over again saying, come on, change something. So in that, I'll take notice and I'll wave it off and deal with what's coming next. It's sometimes difficult to put forward exactly what is new, without relating it to something somebody already knows. So I'll attempt to put it in simple words while the fly keeps coming at me. We're about to have not an enormous change, but an enormous loss of recognition of the old world. All of a sudden, you'll find you won't be able to recognize the old world. And that's how it's going to disappear. You won't know what trouble is. You won't know what difficulty is. You won't know what pain is. So we're going to lose the recognition of all that stuff, all the things that we thought were important in the world. We're going to celebrate being here, and we're going to know how majestic we are and how great it is to throw sparkles everywhere, disturb everyone's life just like the fly. How easy it is to live life the way we knew right from the start it was supposed to be lived. So that's the new thing that's coming. And it's only a very, very short distance away. It's started already. Many people have forgotten about all their hardships, and they really don't want to talk about them. They don't want to relate it anymore. It's becoming one of those things that seems like it's being overdone. And so we're gradually discarding our complaints. Or we're looking at other people's complaints and just shaking our head without any comment. And they're gradually disappearing. But in the very near future, you'll actually forget about what the world used to be like. The media will actually change because it will not be supported in what it's doing right now. People will not support all the turmoil that's generated out of nowhere to make a headline. The reality is that people can see past all that. They can actually see events and instantly say, well, that's a little bit out of proportion. But in the very near future, you won't even look at it. Not purposely, you just won't recognize it. It's a little bit like you keep your house clean because you like it clean. You live a certain way because you like to live that way. And that is exactly how you'll treat the world. Because you are responsible for it, you do add everything into the world that's ever needed. And I'm talking your world, which is the world you live in, the world around you, everything and everybody you look at, what you see at night in the stars, what you see in the day in the clouds, how the rain comes, how the plants grow, how all the animals live in harmony and do the job that they're supposed to do. And as you start to see that it's all your world, responsibility won't be a hardship. Responsibility will be, of course it is. That's exactly what I always wanted. I want to see the gardens grow properly. even if somebody else is doing the work. In what I see, that work will be done, and it'll be done properly. And the people who do that work will enjoy themselves. They'll be happy, they'll love everything. I hope I've taken everybody from the point of needing everything to the point of, I've got everything, now let's put it in the right order. I brought it here, I know what to do. I deliver a smile to someone and I change their life. I deliver a few words and they're uplifting. And they're not heard the same by any two people. Because the message that I send, that you send, that everybody sends, has a unique characteristic of a communication system that is not spoken. It's instantaneous. It goes to everyone, everywhere in its own format, or in their own format. This is the mastery of our Creator. And the masters of the universe work continuously to interact with us, to make sure we're aware of the fact that we do affect everyone. And there's some very powerful beings can appear in front of you if you decide to step out of line. This is what you have granted yourself, to make sure that you've brought into this world the perfection that you've known throughout the ages. The distinct honor that you feel for holding this position is felt by everyone and everything. So as we gather ourselves and get ready for the fact that we're going to forget about the old system, forget about how the world used to be, we can look to what's new in every moment. And it's a little bit cloudy at the moment. You can find yourself looking at a cloudy reflection of the old system. But if you just disturb the moment, follow your spirit, do something stupid, have a bit of a laugh, make sure your happy switch is on, and that clears. And you see into a world that's exotic in every way. One you built, one you actually have full control of, through a system that's got nothing to do with your mind, through something that makes your heart burst open every time you feel it, through the great honor that comes with being human. You have been given the opportunity to demonstrate your gifts in the physical plane. And I can't wait to see everybody blossom and burst open and present themselves without being put down by anything, because they're presenting it in a world that belongs to them. You are presenting you in a world that belongs to you. And you've always known that there's only one being that you could say is next in level to you. and that's your creator. There's only one signal that you need to take notice of. It's direct from your source. And then you generate everything that's needed for everyone so that they get the opportunity to experience a little bit of what you've got. So you'll see that you'll become more interested in what other people are offering as well, because you'll know that you can't offer what they can offer. You don't have any comparison. And it's a gift direct from your creator through each person. And one of those great gifts that we offer for one another is health. Health and well-being. And it's a force that's stronger than all things. Stronger than all of nature. Stronger than all of the universe. It's what makes everything rotate, move in a random order, and generate the power you need for everything in your world. Health doesn't constitute a measure. Health is a magic force that is relentless. That generates love, but is much stronger and more relentless than love. And that is the beauty of what we are bringing into everybody's world. A hidden strength that nothing can touch. A strength that you each transmit into the world to keep it stable. And one that allows each one of us to feel the strength of one another in a form of safety. So we are responsible for the safety of one another by having that force of health available to us so we can retransmit and hold everybody steady in a beautiful world so they can play with the magic and miracles and know that it's a small part of their life. Even though at times it seems to be overwhelming, its instantaneous effect is felt by everyone. So now the fly has decided to settle on my arm and not go away. So I think I've probably covered the area that I was holding back a little. The one that says you're really a force to be reckoned with. And in that force is more and more and more that we will experience and we'll talk about. And will grow to a level where it's not just useful, but where it is the foundation of everybody's life. And health will sustain everyone and will rid us of all the things that we've conjured up in the past. And you didn't have to learn anything. You felt it, you feel it now. It's yours. And the fly must agree, so he went to both eyes. So let's all separate ourselves from everything for about a half a second and wish one another a perfect life, perfect health, and an extremely magic future. Thank you, everyone.